What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, scratch-made, cheesy, hatch green chili, amazing smoked brisket burrito. Coming up. This is a brisket. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a pretty typical looking USDA prime brisket. Picked this up at my local HEB. Not too big, not too small. And we're gonna just give this the old classic trim, you know, remove some of this burned, scraggly stuff, take out this big chunk of fat, clean up the backside a little bit, and just make it look a little more pretty and a little more aerodynamic. I always start on the backside. Big chunk of fat, take that out. Start tackling some of this silver skin and just rounding off these edges. Not much to it once you know what you're doing, folks, but it does take a few briskets to really know what you're looking at. And you can always go back and watch all the other brisket videos I've done where I show the entire trim process. And as always, we want to end up with as much usable, sliceable brisket at the end of the day as possible. And especially if you're like me, where you like to grind your own meat for burgers and making your own sausage, all this meat is perfect for that. Take down this fat cap a little bit. Trying to move nice and quick today because it's, you know, 103 degrees right now. And trimming a warm brisket is one of the layers of hell. Got some unfortunate scalping on this one on the point side. Don't like that, but you know, sometimes pickings are kind of slim at the old grocery store. Take off this super thin bit, kind of round this thing off to make it look nice and pretty. And there we go, pretty basic trim done. I might go around and do some little final details, but really, that's all you need to do, you know? Nice 1/4 inch of fat on there, nice aerodynamic shape. Give it the old Chud scrape, remove any knife marks, just so it looks a little bit prettier. And that is looking pretty much perfect to me. Let's go ahead and get this thing seasoned up. As for seasoning, I'm going with my classic SPG, which is 2 parts 16 mesh black pepper, 1 part diamond crystal kosher salt, and 1/2 part granulated garlic. When I say a part, I mean literally any unit of measure. I use a ramekin or a spoon, whatever volumetric device you choose. Do 2 pepper, 1 salt, and 1/2 that of garlic. Nice heavy coating. Flip it over. And as always, folks, please don't forget the sides. It's the best part. It'd be a rookie move to forget the sides. Still see it happening though. Tell you what, I'm not going to repost your photos on Instagram if you forget the sides. Happens all the time. No need for a binder today. As you can see, this rub is having no problem sticking to this brisket. And we're about to fire up the pit, which will probably take about 15 minutes to get up to temp. And during that time, the salt will start pulling some moisture out of this brisket, and that'll help to rub it here even more. But anyway, that's looking pretty much perfect to me. So let's go ahead and fire up that pit. The only problem with summer coming to an end is the return of all these pesky little boot snakes. And on the pit we go. In typical Chud brisket fashion, fat cap up, fatty side toward the fire. Plump this thing up a little bit right here so we don't get that curl. And we're gonna rock this probably around 250, 275 for the first little bit. I'll probably close the damper down just a wee bit to get a little back pressure going to make sure we get a good amount of smoke on this thing. And other than that, just kind of maintain some temps and we'll check back in a little bit. 8 hours later. Ow, ooh, that was extra hot. This brisket is looking nice and barky, feeling nice and rendered. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's rocking right around 180 degrees internal. So we're gonna give it the old foil boat. Beautiful. Back on the pit this goes, right around 300, maybe 325 until this thing is probing nice and tender, nice and barky, and reading right around 200 degrees internal. Just about an hour later, off this brisket comes. Very hot still. When will I learn? But got a beautiful bark, nice and squishy, beautiful fat render. Ooh, beautiful fat render on there, nice and pillowy, reading around 203-ish degrees all over. So I'm gonna pop this into my toaster oven at 140 degrees overnight, and we will check back in tomorrow. Let's make some beef fat flour tortillas. Starting by going into our food processor here with some bread flour, some baking powder, and some kosher salt. Give that a quick little blend. And next we're going in with our Wagyu beef tallow. Shout out South Chicago Packing Company. I'm telling you, I've tried other beef fats, I've tried my own beef fat. Nothing works as well. And get that cut in. And once it starts looking like this, nice and sandy, we're gonna go in with some warm water. Then we're gonna let that dough form and let it knead for about a minute. And once a beautiful dough ball has formed onto a lightly floured work surface, our tortilla dough comes out. Boop, get out of there. Nice and sticky. After a couple kneads, this dough ball is looking absolutely beautiful, nice and supple and soft. So now we're gonna break it down into 150 gram little dough balls for our 12-inch tortillas. 164, not bad. Just like that. And once we've got these all portioned out, we're gonna go ahead and tuck all the seams to the underside for a nice smooth top presentation. Hand down, and using the stickiness and the friction from the table, we're gonna give it the old roly-poly. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna put a damp cloth over these and let these rest for the next 30, 45 minutes or until we're ready to use them. Ooh. To kick things off, we're gonna go ahead and bust out a super quick and easy guacamole. Oh God. We have some beautiful, nice, fresh avocado, followed by some lime juice, some of our diced up white onion, jalapeno, cilantro, a nice big fat pinch of salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, a little bit of ancho powder, some cumin, some granulated garlic, and hell, we'll throw some of our tomatoes in there as well. And just get that all nice and mashed up. Be sure to taste and adjust and transfer into a slightly more festive bowl, and our guac is done. Next up, quick, simple pico. Take the rest of our tomatoes in, some more of our white onion going in, jalapenos going in, cilantro, some lime juice, big fat pinch of salt, do some garlic powder as well. I was gonna put some fresh in here, but I am fresh out. And just get that all nice and mixed together. And after a festive bowl transfer, our pico is done. And of course, we can't forget about our hatch green chilies. Blasted these with some heat and then let them steam in this pan here for the last little bit. And now all we gotta do is wipe off all the char. Obviously, you don't need to be 100% about this. Looking good, feeling nice and soft. All right, folks, I brought these inside to really get them nice and clean. I opened them up, cut the tops off, washed all the most of the seeds out of there. And I gotta say, they're looking nice and clean and very pretty. So now I'm just gonna zip them into some strips, whatever size you like. I'm gonna kind of dice them up a little bit. Pretty happy. Today is the first day that hatch green chilies have made an appearance at my local grocery store, so really couldn't have timed this video any better. Beautiful. I'm gonna hit these with a little bit of salt just to make sure we've got some nice flavor all the way throughout a burrito. And our hatch green chilies are done. Next up, let's grate some cheese real quick. We got some Tillamook sharp cheddar. Also got some pepper jack. Beautiful. And some Oaxaca. Beautiful. All right, folks, it is finally tortilla making time, and I must say these little pucks are looking absolutely beautiful, and that is my biggest advice to anyone trying to make their own flour tortillas, is if you don't let these rest long enough, it's been probably 2 hours if these have been resting. That is definitely the most important part, because you really want that gluten to be fully relaxed. Otherwise, it won't stretch out and get nice and fluffy. This thing's rocking right around 400 degrees, so let's go ahead and press it out. Extra force, it's a big tortilla. Ooh, a little stickage, that's all right. There we go. It's about as big of a tortilla that this thing could possibly make. Beautiful looking tort though. Kick the heat back on, toast this underside a little bit, get some puffage going. I'm telling you folks, perfect tortillas every time. And if you want to get a chud press just like this, they're on my website. Go check it out. Great for burgers, tortillas, you name it. Great bacon press too. Looking pretty good to me. Into the tortilla warmer we go. I don't want this to get too browned up at this stage because this is going to go back on once it's fully loaded. So off it comes. Ow! And we repeat. I mean, it looks pretty puffy. I could be wrong. That is ridiculous. Whew. All right, folks, let's see how this brisket came out. I did, in fact, wrap this in plastic wrap. I've been doing that a lot lately. It helps not stink up the house and keep this thing nice and juicy. And you may be wondering, Brad, does that affect the crispy bark? Kinda. I don't really care. Ooh, beautiful. Oops. Oh no, what have I done? Oh no, oh no. All right, let's just slice right on into this thing, shall we? Looking pretty good to me. Nice and juicy, beautiful smoke ring. I mean, what more do you need? Go for some burnt ends. Looking pretty juicy to me. Get some fatty slices going. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad, does it? Nice and tender, good fat render, nice and jiggly, good bark. As expected, this back end is a little tough because there was no fat cap on this brisket on the fat end. But that's okay. Does that count as the first slice? Meaning this is the fourth slice? Not a bad looking fourth slice if I ever saw one. Nice and tender, nice and juicy. Yeah, good cook. Get a couple of lean slices as well while we're here. Boop. Love it. Good old brisket. Never gets old. But we could sit here looking at this brisket all day, but I think it's time to get some burritos going. All right, folks, it's time to assemble. We got our beautiful tortilla right now. What should we go down with first? I'm thinking a nice healthy bed of some guacamole. Nice little smear, followed by a beautiful slice of some fatty brisket, cooked to perfection, if I do say so myself. We'll throw a little lean on there too, just for good measure. On top of that, we'll go down with some of our hatch green chilies. Nice big pile, folks. 'Tis the season, after all. Next up, we're gonna just cover this thing in cheese. Ooh, am I making this thing too big already? I guess we'll find out. A little more cheese, just a little more cheese. There we go. Next up, we're gonna hit this with some crema, little Mexican sour cream, just for good measure, and top that with some of our pico. Oh, what a beautiful spread. Little freshness, little cheesiness, little jalapeno, little hatch for some heat. But the real question is, can I roll this up and should I add rice? I'm gonna add a little bit of rice. It just seems like the California way. This is just some Spanish rice. I cooked it from one of those really easy packets because you know what, I get lazy too sometimes, folks. There we go, just a little bit. And now we're just gonna, oh yeah, we're just gonna go for it. Sides in, no squirting out pico. Oh God, this is gonna be tight. Ooh, I think we just barely made that. Whoo, that is a thick boy. Oh, that is a beautiful sight. That is nice and plump, feeling so smooth and smoky. All right, let's make another one. Little guacamole. Boop, love it. Hatch green chili mountain. All the cheese, a little bit of, a little blanket of Spanish rice. I think I made this one even bigger. Okay, oh yeah, this one's definitely tight. Hopefully we seal the bottom of that and it's good to go. Cut side down, obviously. Gonna try and sear these things a little bit, get a little more color, and I'm getting ready to eat. Ow, looking good to me. All right, folks, after I seared these off, I wrapped them up in some aluminum foil, let them rest for a little bit, make sure all that heat transfers through, and I think it's time to see how these came out. Oh yeah, that wrap definitely softened everything up, feeling nice and squishy. So let's go ahead and get a little cross section, shall we? Oh, that is a nice cheesy looking burrito. Got a little bit of everything in there. Got that guac, got that rice, plenty of brisket. Ooh, come on, what else do you need? Some beautiful barky, fatty brisket inside of a Wagyu beef tallow tortilla with cheese and veg and just, oh, I gotta dive in. Oh, wow. Good God, that is phenomenal. It's so much flavor, so much juiciness. You got the peppers that are really singing through. The beef just melts in your mouth. Nice and fatty. You got that crispy yet soft from the wrap tortilla on the outside. And this thing has got some weight to it. I should probably weigh it. Half a burrito, 2 bites in, 7.5 ounces, which is 210 grams. It's got some girth to it, bud. It's just a magnificent eating experience. It's smoky, it's cheesy, it's juicy. It's got that fresh kick from the pico and the cilantro and the lime juice. That is an unbelievable bite. Those chilies, the crema, it's perfect. I'm definitely making this again. Best bite of the year so far. Perfect blend of flavors. That's incredible. This burrito is ridiculous. I need to go find a neighbor or find a friend or something because I need to share this with someone.
Oh, hello.
Would you like a burrito?
Oh, of course. Wow. I'm sorry, I don't have any money for a tip.
Okay, I'll leave.
Okay. I think a burrito needs to have rice and beans in it.
Okay, good, because I was very questionable on the rice, but I
don't prefer a lot of rice in my burritos.
There's not a lot of rice, but there's some.
Beans in here too?
No beans.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The key is cooking that brisket well enough to have it just like bite through.
Right.
The cheese. Look at that. Oh, gooey. Oh yeah, baby.
There was one thing that I thought that this burrito could have used, and that is Taco Bell packets.
Taco Bell sauce. You should put it on anything right there.
Well,
There you go. That's what it was missing.
Yeah, right?
It's really damn good with Taco Bell sauce on there.
All right, y'all, without further ado, I think it's time for the official taste test. Brisket. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic hatch green chili brisket burritos. I highly, highly, highly recommend giving this one a try, especially if you make your own beef fat tortillas. Nice and soft with that perfect brisket and all the spice and flavors. It really is a bite that is greater than the sum of its parts. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.